This piece of evidence will show another way to move between the two countries. First try, the photo of the Yatagarasu.
Take that!
Agent Long, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo.
That supernatural photo, like I said before, humans can't fly.
No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well.
And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. She didn't drink a Red Bull. They're forbidden in Alabast. Speaking of Red Bull,
I wouldn't dream of claiming that.
and I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor.
But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible? Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation.
It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face within this photo's blurry trail shadow is...
I wish it played the Eureka soundbite. Yeah, it only works when you're investigating. That's why they said Eureka in words. It's not like he had a big exclamation. Basically, Edgeworth was saying Eureka in his head. So we're gonna say that the shadow is the Peridox statue.
Take that!
Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the Peridox statue replica.
You can't be serious!
The Yatagarasu, or rather, Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Shina, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air.
Ah, Mr. Prosecutor! You left out the very crucial bit in your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that? With her superhuman strength that she doesn't have? She got very angry and turned into She-Hulk? And then just yeeted the statue into this side of the embassy on the 5th floor?
He's literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, did he say this earlier?
Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right?
So just before the murder, Francisca was... Given how much stuff happens in this game that feels like it should be possible, nothing supernatural happens outside of the courtroom, these kinds of investigation. It's true. It's true. Usually, one rule of mystery is that we must eliminate the supernatural element in our reasoning. Only until every route possible realistically have been removed. Because it's too easy to go into the supernatural. Oh, it grew wings and fly. Oh, that person has supernatural strength. Oh, this guy can turn invisible. Oh, it can shapeshift or camouflage, stuff like that. Like, usually, good mystery novels remove the supernatural effect from the equation. Otherwise, it's going to be too easy. Just use your imagination to deduce instead of logic. So yeah, Francisca was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Long, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Ha! Exclamation mark.
Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy?
Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Kamma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer?
Yeah, I guess I did say something like that.
In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is.
Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time, which is why I would like to hear about it from you. Francisca, I feel that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important for the outcome of this case.
All right. So, what would you like me to talk about?
I would like you to please testify to your movements until you came to this room. I feel like her being stubborn about this is dumb because she's literally giving her the chance to prove her innocence. Yeah, but she's a proud woman. You know how she is. Like, just the fact that we're her subordinate, she likes to remind us and play with that power dynamic more than anything else. So I'd like to please testify to your movement up until you came into this room.
Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can say faster than you can owl. No!
As you wish. Alright. So this is the first time in history that Francisca has been accused of murder. Probably one of the only characters in the Phoenix Wright universe, recurring Phoenix Wright universe, that haven't been through that treatment. Phoenix has been, Edgeworth has been, Maya has been, Gumshoe had been in this game, Kay just had, and now it's her turn. Movement in Alabast. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up the security situation. After all the preparation were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to this office. Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So, what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail. Okay, so we're gonna press on everything until we found something. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy.
Hold it!
I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring.
Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Yatagarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago, or have you forgotten what happened here back then?
Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can really forget myself.
It looks like you remember the case after all.
Of course I do.
I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police security detail. I did all that. Then after that, after I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office...
Hold it!
So you were at the theater as well?
Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show?
Well, yes, so Francisca was there.
Well, after the show was over and I saw the Steel Samurai off,
I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation.
Hold it!
Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech? For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yatagarasu had planned on getting in, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. And in the end, Yatagarasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Calm down, Francisca. No need to whip me. She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself. Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden. And we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter. After all the preparation were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Hold it!
At that time, the Master II's body has yet to be found in this room. Is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large present. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'll be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants.
Oh, I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Grrr. All right then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details.
So Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I would like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plant at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on this side, however, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you enter the room, his body would have been like a wall covering the window. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me. With a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know?
Yes! The plants in this room, they are all like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. 4. Yo, the picture I have right here presents 2 passion flower. Can you add that to the statement, please? Yeah, Edgeworth, brighten up himself, exclamation mark. Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now? I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box. Present the 2.
Objection!
Thank you. Shakes his head. Francisca? For some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis!
Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma's like this?
Yeah, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir! Hey!
All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I'm still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant.
Ha! Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove?
I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy.
They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yeah, especially when you let lose half your passion flowers. I understand. Okay, we're gonna walk by the flower box. I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. We see 2 holes, so yeah, there used to be 4 passion flowers. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they're actually a species of wine. A vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supports.
Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it still looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already!
I suppose I will need use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? Show evidence? Okay. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require.
Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current ploy. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end.
You owl like a wolf, Agent Long. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. The hair sticks.
Take that!
Shinna, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, has these hair stick on her. That look exactly like the plant support in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers.
Ha! So what? Is this really all that important to the case?
Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight.
Ayah!
Think about it logically, Agent Long. These sticks were originally in Alabast. But somehow they wound up in Shinna's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and the statues.
Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babal and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha! So that's why! Agent Long, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
It's just another stick, isn't it?
And so it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support stick is... It's either the grandfather clock or the ceiling fan. But the angle suggests that the focus should be on the ceiling.
Eureka!
There you go. This is what it was used with the support stick.
Come again?
Isn't it obvious? Someone used those with this. Oh no.
Those with this? Could you be any more vague? Well, why don't you try this again?
Yes, I suppose I should. It would appear that this was insufficient in conveying what I had wanted to say. The answer should become oblivious to me if I just think calmly about this once more. But the only thing that can be really connect the two offices together has to be this. Okay, I'm gonna try the grandfather clock. Oh, I cannot, can I reach there? I'm gonna try to reach.
Eureka!
No. Alright, I'm gonna go with the statue since that's the center of the image.
Eureka!
No? What else? Represent the fan again, but better.
Eureka!
No. Oh shit! No, I know! Oh fuck! The crossbow! Okay, they were shooting to Babal with that crossbow.
That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not suggesting.
I am. These hair stick, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows.
Ah, yeah!
I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statue were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must have been a common thread that ties all of these things together.
Not so fast!
Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all!
Border Crossing Part 2.
So Babal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over there? Even if you fire the arrow...
Yeah, there was a wire. So, the arrows were shot with the wires and then attached. And they were tangled into the support sticks. Because I thought they used the ceiling fan to reel them up, since it has to go from the 3rd floor to the 5th floor. But I guess that what they used was the ceiling fan at Babal, since it broke. I thought they broke during the fire, but it probably broke due to being used, strained with the weight of the statue. Like, it's easier to zip line the first statue from Alabasta to Babal, but the other way around, it's a little bit more complicated.
If you fire the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied up to them. I don't think I need to tell you what the Primiduck statue didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you?
The Primiduck statue didn't sprout wings? Of course they didn't.
Glad you understand. I feel much better already. Well, I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact.
It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation.
What?
You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Primiduck statue flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Okay, Border Crossing Part 2.
Babal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here.
Hold it!
But that incredible scene just happened to have been caught on film, resulting in this photo.
Ha! And that was an incredible scene it was. This photo was taken by a freelance photojournalist, right?
Yes, so I hear.
And not every photojournalist is known to be honest, right? Especially not the ones that sell photo of spirits and giant creatures to tabloids. Hey, I resent that, gosh darn it, damn gummit.
Yes, I know what you mean. I've seen those sorts of photos many a times in court.
Well, yeah, it was Lada. Lada was there. I'm looking for a big scoop. And I saw the Yatagarasu as clear as day. I'll tell you what.
There's been many times when these photos have turned out to be telling the truth. If you had understood in a court of law, you would know that it's entirely plausible.
You really believe the stuff you're spewing right now? A courtroom certainly is a strange place, if what you say is true. But there really is something odd about that photo, no matter how you look at it. Even if you fired the arrow from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them.
Hold it!
But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct?
But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing!
No, that's not necessarily true.
What?
What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusion, it's the launching of my conclusion. What the shooter wanted to launch with a crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statue.
If it wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, then what did the crossbow launch? Presenting the wire.
Objection!
Thank you. Finally, we have reached this point in our discussion. For I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow.
Huh? Ah, I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Cochin's office.
Now we see a picture of it in black and white. Somebody shooting an arrow tied to a rope with the crossbow.
All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, I can see how Alabaster Primadox statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babal's Primadox statue? The dark shadow in this photo clearly is flying away from Babal. Going in the opposite way of gravity, from the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy up to the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy. How do you explain that?
Aha! I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick work. Agent Long, the motion used behind this trick, I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head.
Motion? What motion?
This is the motion that was employed to smuggle Baba through the statue. Rotary motion, swinging motion, or bungee motion. Rotary. I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the two statues were transported simultaneously...
Simultaneously? Get real! The statue would collide somewhere along the way.
Did I ever say that there was only one line of wire between the two offices? There was a rope. If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed. Oh, you use the weight of one to lift the other one.
Lang Ji says, don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability.
Yes, there were two sticks that were shot, along with a wire.
Taking into account the tension difference between the two wires, the top one would sag too much to the point where the statue would collide anyway.
Agent Long, as you know, the Primadox statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure. And the fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible.
Lang Ji says,
Ow! Here is what believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in the two different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the room by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statue and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to the ball, where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Monsieur hid it inside the grandfather clock QED.
Ha! Ha 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 ha! Grrr! Who hit me? This proves it, right, Ancient Lang? That I'm not the killer! Not yet. I still hasn't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor?
The proof is in the pudding, as it were.
Pudding is a nice dessert. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir.
I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence.
One more? This should be interested. Why, yeah, I'm a big bad wolf. I'm gonna get the red whipping hood with me home. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into a fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor.
The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire. I believe that it is right here in this very room. I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible. Now I present the fan.
Ha! Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again. The last piece of evidence to the trick are two pulleys.
Precisely. The ceiling fans doubles as pulleys in this case. And thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans make for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypass the impenetrable security.
Ha! Ha 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 ha! Grrr. You really are something else, Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show, is it, don't you?
The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabastion and Babalis offices, and that passion flowers support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case...
Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food. Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do?
A single point of the finger here in this case will explode into an international incident. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now but to rush in. There is a piece of it that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. The passion flowers?
Take that!
This smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had the time to grow so big that Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited this room today. ... On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both officers had ceiling fans tells us that the person has very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So, as you may have already guessed, the person I'm accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus Alba! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Alba ...
Me? A frail old man? Shooting a crossbow?
Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm certainly of what I am saying, and I am sure that he is the culprit.
Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that?
I understand your need to doubt me. However, there's one thing that stands out to me as very odd.
Just one thing, huh?
The one single end results Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we'll finally find the answer to everything.
I'm gonna save here.
Because I did so many mistakes and it auto-save on top of that, so I cannot bring back my health. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. The Primidoc statue that was used as a weapon, I guess.
Take that!
I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primidoc statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primidox himself?
I see. Ambassador, we'll be examining that statue now, with or without your permission.
Alba ... Yeah, there is a handprint in the bottom. These are Mr. Cochin's fingerprints. The fact that they are on the here suggests that this statue once belonged to Babal. So it was smuggled from Babal to Alabas, huh? Why, was there a need for them to smuggle it in? Is there anything else here? The head. This guy kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked by the Goodwill Ambassador? I suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap. Hey, you're right! Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret? Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction.
What?
Hurry up and open it, Miles! Alright, here goes. Yo! The back opens, and then we found the plates for the fake Zhengfa money. Wow, it really did open up! Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I believe a more thorough examination of this is required. What in the... is this?
Hey, is this what I think it is?
It's a plate for making counterfeit bills! Somehow it appears that we have long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabas to begin with. Counterfeit plate. This was found from within the fake Primidoc statue Alba smuggled into his country. The Primidoc statue can only be handled by the ambassador or the secretariat, and the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Shina, the ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into the Mask II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue of the Mask II and... boink! In order to frame the Steel Samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? ...
You're the leader. You're the leader of the smuggling ring! My country is a mess, and it's all because of you? You're the one who killed the Mask II?
Answer us!
I plead the fifth. I never thought that you would figure things out to this level.
Exclamation mark.
However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Manny Koshin.
Not so fast!
Quit screwing around! I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man.
Also, we have proof that it wasn't Manikochan because he's wearing one of the card that receives instruction from the leader. He was supposed to destroy it, but he didn't. That was a piece of miracle. He doesn't know that. So yeah,
if there's one thing that I'm sure of, is that you're the real ringleader, Quercus Alba.
It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Lang.
Subjectivity? My conclusion is anything but, and is the result of logic and investigation.
Logic investigation, eh? Only seconds ago you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you?
Langji says shut the fuck up. Question mark? It looks like you still don't get why I came back.
Excuse me?
You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fang into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you.
What? How dare you?
Agent Lang, I demand explanation. Sorry, sis, I didn't mean to put you through all that. But I knew you were innocent from the very beginning. You did? Well, yeah, I knew that this whole incident has been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seems the most suspicious. But without the ambassador's permission, we couldn't get him to take another look around. So I have to fake pretend accusing you of killing Master II to get in. You see?
yeah, I remember. I deduced that it was that. Like that was the only logical way. So that was a ruse. Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Francisca of the murder. Using Francisca as the bait, you were able to gain us an entry and investigate rights.
Yeah, if I had done that, I thought the ambassador would have given the okay to poke around. So that's what all this was about. Very well, I will forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, I'll give you 50 lashes! No, 100! You will take some responsibility to help us find the truth.
Agent Long, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you.
You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic.
The evidence detective collects combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? Lang is a much nicer guy in the second game, I feel like. I mean, yeah, because during the first game, he had a grudge against all the prosecutor because of what happened in his country. And now that's all behind, he's a more useful ally.
I don't know about all that.
After this, Edgeworth earned his respect, of course, absolutely.
One thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man gets what's coming to him.
Ho ho! You're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Oh, I'm shitting my pants. It is not because of the produce.
Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me. ...
Agent Lang, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection!
Don't be such a sore loser! If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crime with dignity.
Dignity, eh? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, Then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence. I tell you, I knew nothing! Really! I didn't even know that the counterfeit plate was inside that statue!
Objection!
You swapped a real statue that vested in your country the authority to rule for a fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything.
It doesn't make sense! Where doesn't it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense?
He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us.
Yeah. Never mess with the elderly, suckers!
The proof that Interpol have been after which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Time to pull out the Phoenix Wright. Yeah, but then again, is the Alba's trump card is his diplomatic immunity. Since we're in Alabastian territory, we're out of our jurisdiction. He has extraterritorial rights as an ambassador, you know?
If there is nothing I can use to break this case wide open.
So now we have in the office the Shadow, which is actually Detective Bad. Exclamation mark. The Yatagarasu.
The trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. And the tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what, a protector of the law can be allowed to use such pieces of evidence.
Needless to say,
This is Manfred.
we Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary.
Bad.
The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts.
That's what we thought at the time.
I no longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma. And I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What greed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality. And if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law? And what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is one I must make by my old man, here and now.
So I'm gonna make 2 saves, because I forgot. If I remember, I have to use the trump card here. I'm gonna use it. Because one is the Von Karma way and the other is, screw it.
There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law too crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is that I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this.
He's showing the black card. Exclamation mark.
Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life. It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instruction to his subordinates. Oh, is that what it is? This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG-8 incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manikochin. Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession? Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense. Let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains direction from the ringleader?
I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing that was given.
What?
The tape. This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG8 incident.
The KG8 incident?
The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate.
Oh ho! Very interesting. I must admit that I am very curious now. Very curious indeed of these case-deciding pieces of evidence you've presented.
The prey the aggressor has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man, who had free reign for 10 long years, to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. March 15, 1:34 a.m. Theatrum Neutralis Lobby. I'm gonna reload and see the other path, see where it goes, because I have a feeling that it's an illusion of choice. Do not use the trump card. I am a prosecutor, and I can't allow myself to use evidence such as these. Mr. Edgeworth, if you don't do something, Ambassador Alba is going to get away with it. I know, but...
Objection!
What are you holding back for? The only thing Von Karma should pursue is the perfect proof. If you really do have what it takes to complete our argument, then there is absolutely no reason not to use it.
Not so fast!
Lang Ji says the reason people judge people is because people are people. People weren't born to be chained to the law. Laws were born to protect the people. You're the only one here right now who can put this guy out to pasture. And that is the only way a second or third generation of Shangfa's people will be born. Can you really still hesitate knowing the fate of a nation rests in your hands?
There is no limit to the law. Any limit to exist was this about... Okay, so... Yeah, it's an illusion of choice. If we hesitate, we have three big arguments that says use it. So in the end, it doesn't really matter. And now we're back to where we were. March 15, 1:34 a.m. Teatro Neutralis Lobby. So now we have Kay, Gumshoe, Von Karma, Lang, one Alabastian guard, and Alba, who is standing in the neutral zone with me next to the VCR.
So what is this interesting thing you wanted me to show me?
That trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence together make for the ultimate hand. And this is where the real meaning behind Detective Bad's words will be realized. Detective Gumshoe?
Aye, aye, sir.
What you see here is security footage shot just before the KG8 murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a directive card from the smuggling ring. This is the section that proves that the card was used to relay an order. The card is shown right here.
Take that!
As you can see, Mr. Kochin is holding the card in his right hand.
I see! The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. But that card and the one you have, just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are, does it now?
Ah, but there is a very easy way for me to prove that they are in fact one and the same. All we have to do is simply take a look at this. This dark red blood, yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in that terrible tragedy. The blood that belonged to the victim of the KG-8 incident. With a bit of DNA testing, we can very easily verify that as fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. This car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building.
There's blood on that apron? What?
Hey! Don't make fun of an impaired lawyer, okay? Or impaired prosecutor. It's not his fault he cannot see the color red through his red goggles. He just survived a poisonous attack, you know. This car was, but he was a jerk for like most of the game. Well, yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that, like, if, I want to say Crush got murdered and the guy who could do anything to help her didn't do shit, and like, he was like Vader, like, you have a lot of self-resentment and a lot of hatred. I have a feeling that the retinas of his eyes were still hurting very, very much even after the attack. So he had a grudge against Phoenix, and he had a grudge against himself. So yeah, I mean, he was a jerk, but I have a feeling that he was suffering through all the time that since the survival of his attack and the day that he got the thing. Anyway. So this is story for another game. Anyway, but that was a nice remark. Thank you very much, Master Jake. So this car was passed by in front of the victim's apartment building. It's an official Cadopian government car.
What?
Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. Enhance. What happened to him was really terrible. There was kind of cool art for him in this one fanfic I read, but after he got out of prison, he started traveling the world and was sending Phoenix coffee from different races. How did he manage to escape the death penalty? Usually in Japan, when you get arrested, you get a life sentence in jail until the time of your execution. And they never tell you when this happens. So you're always prepared to die. So he didn't get the death penalty because the circumstance of the murder he committed. Oh, that's what they said in the fanfic? Really? Really? I'm pretty sure that the death penalty, he didn't get the death penalty. I would have given him a life sentence, but that doesn't exist in Japan. They give life sentence to people with the death penalty, but they just never tell him when. So he's gonna spend like 30, 40, 50 years in prison, never thinking that every day is gonna be the last, which gives him mental strain. In the game, they said they go easier on him. Well, yeah, alright. I forgot that kind of detail, but yeah. I would have given him 30 years instead of a life sentence. The fanfic took place in the US, like from the American version of the Ace Attorney game. Okay. Okay, I get it. Anyway, this area of the footage directly links the smuggling ring with Cadopia. So here we have... he's got the card. We see Manny Cochin in in the card. He's got the card in his breast pocket. I cannot see. Is that the outside of the car? Anyway, I'm gonna present the breast pocket.
Take that!
The shape of this pocket and the directive cards in it, it tells us that without a doubt this person in this card is Mr. Koshin. The license plate on the car was also captured by the security camera. And with it we can easily find out who was sitting in this card on that day 10 years ago. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this card on that day. Alba dot dot dot. Ha! And he turns into stand-up man. Cry! He breaks his cane. You have done well, boy, to make it this far. However, about your claim that I was riding in the car at the time, that's going to be mighty difficult to prove. How so? The Principality of Codopia no longer exists. So naturally, all records from that time period also no longer exists. That arrogance. What he really means is he's already erased all trace of them. Are we finished here, boy? And now he shows the bling of all his medals. The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. The Codopia slip was intentional to delete records. Yeah, but now they were gonna reconcile 7 years later because of statutes of limitation or shit or something. I don't know. There must be something else I can use against him. There's the crest here. Put them back together to delete the records again. Yeah.
Take that!
What the? Ambassador Alba? Oh, the medal. Oh, okay, I see it now. There's a reflection, and I see it's a medal. We didn't see it because he was a crooked old man, but when he stand up straight and he's showing the medal, yeah, the statute of limitation is 15 years. In Codopia or in the United States? This is fake country. This is fantasy land we're in right now. It's not the United States of Japan here. Ambassador Alba! Yes, what is it? You were once an army man in the service of Codopia. And it was you who made the many missions you participated in successes, correct? Huh! Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, the brilliant medals on my breast were awarded to me during the era of Codopia. But now I am the only one who owns this particular medal. In that case, the only person it could be who's sitting in this car is you! How do you figure that? By the medals captured here in this footage. It is clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest. What? His face is broken for some reason. This is how it'll be, eh? But I won't look back. For this is the path that I've chosen. Ha 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 ha. You've moved me with your devotion to this case, Mr. Edgeworth. Why is he taking such an arrogant stance with me? It's almost looking possible, isn't it? He's stroking his beard. For the lot of you to have come this far. It looks like I just might lose our little game this time.
You might lose the game this time. You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador.
Is that a fact? Very well. I've decided to confess and admit my guilt.
You're going to confess?
And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result.
What the?
Regarding the Damask II murder, I admit it. I did it out of self-defense. You're claiming it was justified self-defense?
The Master Second attacked me, and I felt that my life was in danger. If I had done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him. What a pathetic performance. I'm not giving you one.
Wow, you two really know how to laugh at inappropriate times. If you wish to claim it was justified self-defense, then we will need some evidence.
It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you required, I'll provide it. That man left a mark on me when he attacked.
And you know how to make competition at inappropriate times, Kay? Yes. What?
I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof that it was in self-defense.
And then he unbuttons his uniform and he reveals a bandage with a bloody wound.
I am an old man and sometimes I don't pay enough attention when I should.
But the Master Second didn't have a single weapon on his body.
Halt! Hold on. It's nothing to get worked up over because I hid the weapon.
You hid it?
I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it's self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. This is the weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears.
So, the Master Second attacked him with his own trimming shears? There is blood, but it could have been self-made as well. Oh, it's covered in blood!
He was trembling quite badly during our struggle, but that's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting in my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense.
Is he right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Since he has both a wound and the weapon that caused it, it's enough to declare it so.
Ambassador Alba's wounds data jotted down in my organizer. Ambassador Alba claimed as proof he was stabbed by the Master Second, so it was justified defense. No way!
Oh, which reminds me. I guess there is still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all of that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on.
Stop spewing nonsense! You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus in your desperation!
If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you.
The murder of the Master Second was done in self-defense? In my trials, no man escapes this crime alive.
Perhaps so, if you were my opponent in court. However, there is one important fact that I think you may have forgotten.
And what is that? ...
Oh! Oh! Edgeworth just remembered.
Ah, that's what you mean. Extraterritoriality.
That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Alabastian soil. So any trial that has to be held would be held in Alabast. Therefore, the crime I just admitted to will never be tried in your courts.
Agent Lang, what is Interpol's stance on this?
Agents investigate, and that's our job. The judgment of the people who have confessed to their crime, that's the court's job.
Yeah. And I've already confessed to all of my crimes, Agent Lang. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterritorial rights. These rights are effective even on your country's soil. Therefore, no matter where a crime may take place, I will never stand trial in one of your courts.
That arrogance in your expression, that's nothing like the face of someone who is ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system right in your hands.
These crimes you all speak so seriously of, to me, this all has been nothing more than a game.
You may chase me out of this embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Alabas has numerous other embassies on other countries around the world. For me, it was Tuesday, yes. All you would accomplish is you would change the backdrop of our little game. I just have to restart my smuggling ring elsewhere. So there.
These two layers of protection that extraterritoriality provides him. This is why he's one of those who cannot be brought to court.
So you see now, don't you? I live in a whole different world than you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go fetch your eviction papers.
Is there nothing we can do?
To be continued. Yes, we're gonna continue. We're so close to the end. So let's continue. He who is above the law. March 15, 2:11 a.m. Theatrum Neutralis lobby. They're here since 5 in the afternoon and they haven't slept or eaten yet. Oh, there's also the picture of Paleno, Alba, and the Steel Samurai that's been developed, expanded, and displayed.
I can't believe it, sir. Extraterritoriality.
Yes, and there is nothing we can really do about that. In the end, we didn't have enough authority to bring him to justice.
I can't believe that even though we know he's the boss, we can't lay a finger on him.
I know.
Well, lying,
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Sorry to skip out on you, but I've got business to take care of.
If we can't even give an evil guy like him a slap on the wrist, then what the heck were laws created for? What good are they? If the law can't help us, then I'll go as the Yatagarasu and take care of this myself.
Don't you dare!
Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry, that was a bit too harsh.
I know how you feel, sir. We're trying to take on an ambassador after all. And he did tell us earlier to get out of the theater. This is kind of their country, I guess. But I feel like I've been slapped across the face for just doing my job.
What am I going to do? Should I retreat for now and formulate a better plan of attack?
Hold it! Come on, everyone, we can't give up yet.
Okay.
I want you to think about something for a sec. We've never let up for even a second as long as we don't stop investigating. We might find the rotten treasure hidden here.
She's right!
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth!
You're right, Kay. Very well, let us reopen the investigation and see what we find. Come on, Kay.
Right behind you.
Okay, then I'll go check out the ball a bit more, sir.
And I have something that I need to investigate further in Alabast.
Now then, before I gather any more information, I should do a bit of housekeeping.
Passion flowers, data erased from my organizer. That's it. Begin investigation. Okay, so this is my chance to get all my help back. Theatrum Neutralis lobby.
Ambassador Alba agitated over something. He seems agitated over something.
There's something he doesn't want us to investigate. I wonder why.
There are two special circumstances that surround the ambassador. First, the embassy itself has extraterritorial rights. If something happens on Alabastian soil, we are unable to legally prosecute him.
Cool! It sounds like embassies are the perfect place to steal whatever you want.
And murder the Mask II, run a smuggling operation, and make counterfeit bills apparently.
But I thought all their counterfeiting was down by Mr. Cochin and Babao.
Yes, he apparently used the embassy's coupon printing press to do it.
Use Babali's embassy's printing press and Babali's ink to make counterfeit bills.
But it's the same story over there anyway. Babal's also at extraterritorial rights. Which brings me to my next point. The ambassador's extraterritorial rights. Those rights are effective even in our own country.
Really?
No matter what happens, he can never be tried in our courts. He retains some very special rights indeed. Basically, no matter what wrongs he may commit, we can't bring him to trial here.
So I guess we really don't stand a chance now, do we?
We might stand a chance we can somehow nullify either one of his special rights.
So I'm gonna investigate the... Oh, look what we have here. They're holding 2 bouquets. And one of them is missing a petal. It's the Alabastion blade.
This was taken just before the 2 ambassadors gave their bouquet to the Steel Samurai. Wait, is this just my imagination? Or is there something in this picture that I've seen before? I won't rest until I expect a ever suspicious looking nook and cranny.
This here.
It appears to be a bouquet of Persian cyclamens and roses.
Wow, you even know the exact species? I never would have figured out for an expert on flowers.
Yeah. It's all because of those flowers that old lady sends me every month. Just look at me, I sound like some sort of botanist.
So, what exactly is this yellow flower here?
That one, I'm not sure.
What? You don't know?
As far as I can recall, I've never seen a flower like this before. But I feel as though I've seen this shape somewhere before.
I can deduce here. Great. Alabastion knife.
Babal's national symbol is the butterfly, and Alabast is the flower. It would appear that someone is employing the old hide a tree in a forest trick.
What are you mumbling to yourself about? Wait, what? The handle on this knife? Ah!
Yes, it's the handle that was supposed to be on the blade that killed Mr. Cochin. The weapon that killed him was carried through the Theatrum Neutralis, in the very bouquet Ambassador Alba was carrying.
Commemorative photo taken at Theatrum Neutralis. The murder weapon can be seen in Mr. Alba's bouquet.
The flower motif. It looks like one of the flower petals is missing.
Oh, and take a look at the weapon itself. It's missing the exact same petal.
Then the knife in this photo is most definitely the same as this murder weapon.
Blade determined to be Alabastion. The flower motif's petals are separate. Okay, so what else is here? Okay, I'm gonna select everything that I can select in this photo. I can't believe he was pretending to be harmless old grandpa. Talk about deceptive.
I don't suppose anyone expected him to change that drastically.
I bet he's thinking of something evil behind that cheery smile.
Okay, please try to remain calm and focus on the here and now.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry I got all worked up here. Well, the only way we're going to be able to steal the truth is if we keep on investigating.
There's that troublemaker standing there smack in the center, making 2 peace signs behind their heads.
Wow, the Steel Samurai stands out even more than the 2 ambassadors in this picture. Oh hey, the person playing the Steel Samurai is one of your friends, right?
No, I have no idea who he is.
Wait, but you just said he. You know which gender he was, so you must know him, right?
I beg that you please refrain from talking about that person with me ever again.
Mr. Polino has a really great smile, don't you think? I bet he was really happy that they were going to become Codopio again.
Perhaps, but instead he became the greatest victim in today's case. An ambassador like him who is always thinking of his country is really to be admired.
Yeah, although this happens, I hope they'll be able to reunite the country someday.
I hope so as well. But for that to happen, we need to solve this case first. We need to see to it that those who would harm the new Codopia are locked away.
And we will!
It seems that lilies are at the center of this bouquet with an accent of chamomile. Wow, I can totally smell the wonderful fragrance. Okay, this is just a picture. It's not a scratch and sniff. Look, I know that. But it's nice to imagine things once in a while, you know? Where's your sense of empathy? If you can smell the fragrance of flower from a photo, that's more like an hallucination. You don't have to be mean about it. Let's just drop this before it's in full bloom. Anything else? Alright, we've got every discussion here. Gatewater Imperial. I keep being reminded that the ladder versus step ladder debate. Yes, they mention it in the open air stage. We found a step ladder, but Edgeworth is like, no, all ladders are the same to me. The hot take: all ladders are the same, step ladder or not. Flowers were sent by a variety of people and businesses to celebrate the Goodwill event. Even the Steel Samurai received some flowers from the ambassador. There are so many bouquets here, it's like a wedding ceremony. But I believe the flowers for those are for slightly different reasons. What do you mean? This event was supposed to be like a wedding between Alabas and Babal, right? Actually, I believe they're more in a state of divorce. Okay then, this event was supposed to be their remarriage ceremony. I suppose you could call it that. Remarriage. On the orders of Ambassador Alba, no one is allowed into Alabast. But I thought a lady with a whip passed through here not too long ago. She is from Interpol and had the proper paperwork. So while I was reluctant, I had to let her in. Sounds like Francisca, right? Besides, if I didn't, that whip of hers... Yup, definitely Francisca. Hello, and welcome to the Embassy of Babal. I'm sorry, but I don't really need to enter your country at this time. Right now, for a little limited time here at the Babalese Embassy, we're offering the very special Experience the Terrifying Fire is Ashes tour. So how about it? Should I sign you up? We're fine, thanks. We have an investigation to run. These flowers were sent by Global Studios. Global Studios? That's where they filmed the Steel Samurai television show. They have been producing it after it recently, so the studio has been remodeled. Oh, I read about that in the paper the other day. That mascot of theirs is also getting a facelift too, right? What's his name? Oh, Mrs. Monkey. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. You really have a great memory. Never underestimate the powers of recollection. Oh, I guess they want me to... Since I have nowhere else to check, I guess they want me to use logic. Agitated Alba, Cochin's counterfeit operation, renovation. I'm gonna try Cochin with renovation. Oh, it works. We know that the counterfeit bills were printed using the embassy's press, but the necessary materials, such as the Babalese ink and paper, must have been hidden in a secure location. But what do you think would have happened if the renovation had begun? Well, he probably had to find a better hiding place or get rid of it all. Right, so we can assume that the renovation was the cause of the plate and bills disposal. And the reason Mr. Cochin was killed as the ringleader of the smuggling operation. Based on what we know, who do you think was the one with the most to gain? Callias Paleno, Manny Cochin, or Quercus Alba? It's the one person who has been erasing all evidence of the smuggling operation. From both embassies, the co-conspirator who is mopping up, Ambassador Alba. Ambassador Alba has a very strong motive to kill Manny Cochin. Alba could conveniently place all the guilt for the smuggling onto Cochin. But why is he agitated? The cause of Ambassador Alba's agitation, the rotten treason we may find, and the motive for killing Mr. Cochin. Miss Yu said it herself that she didn't kill anyone tonight. If we were to take her words at face value, then the reason for the ambassador's nervousness can only be one thing. He didn't want us to discover the real circumstances under which Mr. Cochin was killed. Aha, okay. He has extraterritorial rights for Alabast, but not Babal. So he's agitated because we may have found proof of how he killed Manny Cochin. Then you mean Ambassador Alba is the real killer? But I thought the two of them were friends. Maybe they were, but what if Mr. Cochin was the one who first betrayed their friendships? Oh, I get it. Wasn't Mr. Cochin pushing really hard for Mr. Paleno to be ambassador after the reunification? Yes, and that was the real reason why he wanted to steal Alabast's Primadox statue. So Mr. Cochin hired the Mask II to go steal it for him. But when Ambassador Alba found out what he was up to, he killed Mr. Cochin? It is definitely a possibility at this point. Those two really were thinking of no one but themselves. But the question now is, how did he do it? Ambassador Alba was in Alabast. But Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? Right. And that is what we must solve next. I believe we now understand why Ambassador Alba was so nervous and agitated. It must have something to do with where Mr. Cochin was killed. A place where the Alabastian ambassador was likely to meet the Babalese Mr. Cochin. The place where Ambassador Alba happened to have committed murder is the neutral zone.
Take that!
The only place that makes sense is here, at the Theatrum Neutralis. What, here? The Goodwill event was being held here today, correct? So the only place that the both of them would have been is in here. But if that's the case, then everything changes. This theater isn't actually Alabastian land. So that wipes out one of those extraterritorials right he has. It makes logical sense, in which case, it is a reason for us to investigate further. So what should we next check out? Let's see. I believe we should check the immigration record for both Alabast and Babal post-haste. Babal's record should be easy to obtain, however the problem will be Alabast. I wonder if they would allow us to see the records despite the orders to vacate.
Objection!
Oh, she already here? I'm already one step ahead of you, Miles Edgeworth! Francesca! I have here the security footage for both Alabast and Babal. You would do well to take a look at this content. Security footage. Footage of the entranceways into Babal and Alabast from the Theatrum Neutralis. Security footage data jot down in my organizer. You move fast. Avant Karma strives to be perfect in every way. It's not in my nature to keep on retreating like this. I took the liberty of looking over the Babal investigation reports as well. From now on, you will make no excuse to back down or say that we can't solve this case. I'm sorry about earlier. We won't be beaten, because my cute little subordinate is going to try his very best, isn't he? Hasn't she patronized me enough already for a lifetime? So this video contains footage from Alabast's immigration screening area. I really hope there's something in here that we can use. Alright, back in front of the VCR. This is Alabast. Yeah, we see Alba. And we see the Steel Samurai with the Iron Infant. Which minute footage should I examine? There's 521, 522, 523. I'm gonna examine 523. So here's the guard. Alabast welcomes you. Alabast blah 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 blah. So yeah, we see the spear has already been bent. Huh. That guy has very long pants. But then again, this suit was made for Will Powers, right? He's a big guy. So
So if Larry Butts is in the costume, it will make sense that the outfit doesn't suit him very well.
It appears that he is inspecting the person coming into the country.
Are you kidding? It's more like he's not checking the Steel Samurai. And then they give me such a hard time.
There are certain risks involved when you give some people preferential treatment. Okay. So what else is here? This is the time, 5:23 p.m. This is just after the end of the Steel Samurai stage show. And after I had been given that autograph.
You totally had stars in your eyes at that time, Mr. Edgeworth.
I most certainly did not.
You had stars in your eyes because of an autograph you received from that man. Mouse Edgeworth, you just lost any respect I had left for you.
I believe it's time to change the subject. There certainly is a variety of posters on these walls.
It's kinda hard to see what's written on them, so they look festive, you know? Those are all tourism posters for this country, although most are of Gatewater land.
Remember just how upset Edgeworth was when he found out the Steel Samurai was Larry?
Yeah. So much so, he threw away the autograph. Oh, this is a piece of garbage. The Steel Samurai is a fake. Fake! I wonder if any Albastian actually go to Gatewater land for fun. It's just really hard to imagine them hanging out there.
True, they do seem to be a nation of extremely serious people.
Okay.
On the outside, he may look like the Steel Samurai, but on the inside, it's just Larry.
Other than the fact that it's a good-for-nothing nothings else seems out of order.
Wait, you know as well as I that anything can happen if he's involved.
You're not suggesting that someone else could be under that mask, are you?
No, I don't think that. Just before he entered here, he gave me an autograph, so I'm certain it's Larry under there. You also know my name.
Yeah, I give him an autograph, he says to Edgeworth without even telling him his name. Like,
it's the door connecting to that hallway in this theater. Nothing appears to be out of the ordinary.
Indeed! Here's the carriage.
Doesn't something about this lump shape strike you as odd?
Isn't it supposed to be the shape?
No, there is clearly something odd about the bulge. If only we had the pushcart himself, we could compare and confirm my hunch.
Pushcart, Steel Samurai, push this to the alabaster from the dressing room. The bulge is unnatural.
Next, let's check out the footage from Babal's security camera.
I hope it shows up something good. So now we have 525, Babal. Phooey, there wasn't a single sign of a suspicious person or anything.
That right there is a contradiction.
Huh? Did I miss something?
You didn't miss anything, because there was nothing to miss. However, what is missing is the image of Mr. Cochin entering his own country.
But wasn't his body found in Babal?
It appears that the true face of our final puzzle has finally revealed itself.
Investigation complete? Okay, I'm at, I got some live. Ah, shit, Alba is here. Oh, and we have representative from both Babal and Alabast. Exclamation mark.
Ambassador Alba.
He brought 6 soldiers with him. I thought I asked you for you and your group to vacate the premises, Mr. Edgeworth.
Actually, I thought I should let you know that this theater sits on my country's soil.
You've had your fun and I've enjoyed our little game. I dare say that you even achieve a new high score. However, once you've recorded a score, that same game can never be replayed again. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Your game is done, and it's game over.
No.
Objection!
Where do you think you're going at this time of night?
After admitting to my crime, I was overcome with regret. So I am heading to the airport now to return home.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There are still too many issues we need to discuss with you.
You can't stop me, Mr. Edgeworth, and you know it. Ugh. Hold it! Please, may I have a little bit of your time, Ambassador Alba?
This is Polino, with 6 of his guards.
Ambassador Polino!
Even just a teeny tiny bit of spine with me.
The already strained relationship between our countries is in a precarious situation, you know. Very well. If you insist, I will play just one more round with them and see what they want. Not that they'll get any farther.
Ambassador Polino.
Mr. Edgeworth, all I wish is for the normalization of relationship between our two countries. But there is one person standing in the way of that dream. I believe in you. You'll do what's right.
Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Enough! Now then, what was it you wanted to ask me about? I do have a flight to catch after all. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to limit you to just one question.
That's more than enough, because I only have one question anyway. I want to hear your alibi about how you couldn't have killed Mr. Manikochin.
Oh, I see. You seem to have a good hand this time around. This should be fun.
This really is the very last chance we have to bring him down. I won't allow even an atom-sized contradiction to slip by.
I'm almost at full health anyway, so this could be good. Ambassador Alba's alibi. Frankly, I still don't understand why I'm being placed under suspicion here. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Cochin and I were fellow smugglers. I cannot press more than once. I don't think I can even press at all. But to get to the point, I was in Alabas the whole time. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babal. That is my alibi.
So that is your alibi?
That is correct. It's simply not possible for me to have committed a crime in Babal. Now that we clear that up, I would appreciate it if you would just move out of my way.
Hold it!
I said hold it.
What is it this time? I thought I told you I only allow one question.
You did. But you still have yet to really answer my one question.
What?
Until you tell us the truth, I will refuse to budge an inch from where I'm standing.
Very well, I'll play with you just a little longer.
Miles Edgeworth, as my subordinate and representative of this country's prosecutors, fuck him up! You are forbidden to lose!
Of course, that is something I've understood from the start.
That guy's the one who ordered my father killed, isn't he?
Yes, I believe so.
The goal of the first Yatagarasu was to capture of the smuggling ring's leader. My father and Uncle Bad, their legacy will live on through me. So that's why we just gotta catch him, okay?
We will, I promise. Now, Ambassador Alba, let's have the truth now, shall we?
No matter how many times you ask, my answers remain the same. Rebuttal. Ladder Alba's alibi. Okay.
Hold it!
Being the leader of a smuggling ring while taking on the duties of ambassadorship, don't you think that the combination is more than enough reason for suspicion? Then there is the matter of the crossbow arrows and the Primidoc statue.
Objection!
Objection! All of that is nothing more than your flights of fancy.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so nothing happened, so it's not that moment, but soon. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Koshin and I were fellow smugglers.
It's not a hypothesis. How do you prove it to be what happened?
Ha ha ha! Well, let's leave that to one side for now. Because it doesn't change the fact that I have no motive.
Oh, so you had no reason to kill Mr. Kochin?
If you want to suppose I had one, then why not? I'll indulge you. After all, this is nothing more than a silly game to me.
If that's how you see things, I would appreciate if you could take me seriously.
I'm sorry. I suppose you're in a bit of a pickle. Very well, a game is no fun if the playing field isn't level. Therefore, I formally claim that I have no motive to kill. Now let's see you disprove it.
How can he stand there looking proud when he knows he killed another human being? Well, I'm not going to stand by and just watch him get away with his crime.
What motive would I have to kill my co-conspirator?
Let's see, do I have an evidence for that?
Pushcart.
Footage of entranceway to a ball in Alabas from the Theatrum Neutralis. So, picture 1, picture 2, there was nothing, picture 3.
So he probably smuggled something inside the cart.
The wound. 1 prick through the shears. Counterfeit plates. We never examined it. It's a counterfeit plate used to make counterfeit Jenkfa bills. It's incredibly detailed and even includes a phoenix taking off into the sky. With plates as finely crafted as these, it's no wonder the fakes are so hard to spot.
Yeah, there's nothing.
The wire is still there. The photo of the Yatagarasu is still there. The fire is still there.
Hold it!
Are you serious that just because you were partners that you have no motive to kill?
I'm only following your hypothetical scenario to his logical conclusion. Ha 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 ha!
Looks like he's not going to admit it himself if he was in league with Mr. Kochin. I suppose not, but I do know his relation to the smuggling ring and to Mr. Kochin.
You mean he's the ringleader and that Mr. Kochin was his subordinate, right?
Correct, but I know more than just that. Miss Von Karma, I'm sure you remember the safe in Mr. Kochin's office, correct?
Yes! The safe has 2 compartments to it, didn't it?
Yes, and why do you think these stolen goods were being stored in Mr. Kochin's office? Could it be because he was trying to cheat Ambassador Alba behind his back?
So Mr. Kochin didn't turn the goods over but decided instead to keep them for himself? I suppose that's possible.
It seems to me that both men were only concerned with their own wealth and well-being.
Then that means that maybe they didn't have a trusting relationship after all.
What Ambassador Alba had to gain? I believe that his motive for killing Mr. Kochin.
What are you people whispering about amongst yourself over there?
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Now then, let's continue with your testimony.
To get to the point, I was in Alabas the whole time.
Hold it!
And what exactly did you do while you were in Alabast?
I had a meeting with the Steel Samurai and then I arranged a few files. Around that time, the thief was sneaking and took me by surprise.
Are you saying that it was the mask the second that made the first move?
Yes, and it was after I was attacked that I hit him on the head with the Premidoc statue. Unfortunately, he died from the blow and it was an act of justified self-defense. The knife was an objection to him being in Alabast. When you say the knife, are you talking about the Alabastian knife or the Yatagarasu key?
Objection!
Calling it that doesn't cover up what you really did. Ha 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 ha! Cover up? No, my boy, I'm not covering up anything. I'm telling the truth.
You weren't planning to admit it, which is why you tried to frame the Steel Samurai. If you weren't an ambassador, I'll be letting my whip fly loose on you right now.
I am terribly sorry that I didn't clean up the body better, but I am a busy man. I had a speech to give in the Rose Garden after that, you know.
Objection!
Yet despite that, you still had time to kill Mr. Cochin, didn't you?
Objection!
Man is evil, and I'm sure you are familiar with the facts, but Mr. Cochin was killed in Babel when I was all the way in Alabast. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babel. That's my alibi.